Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience on YouTube. Manifest your truth. And yes, our wonderful president, if that's what you want to call him, I don't believe he's doing a great job, but President Biden is offering $105 billion in aid all across the world outside of the U.S. $61.4 billion to Ukraine, $14.3 billion to Israel, $10 billion for humanitarian assistance, and $13 billion for the U.S.-Mexico border crisis. Where in the world, with all of the debt, the fiscal debt that the U.S. has conjured over the last 3 decades, are we able to find all of this money? We influxed $2 to $3 trillion during the COVID relief, and now we're giving $105 billion outside of our country, which goes to show you that I guess money, the paper dollar, has no value. It's just a piece of paper. I'm doing this video to express that in the near future, inflation is going to go through the roof. And what is inflation? Inflation means the more money that you put in the marketplace, the less value it has. I think many people know that by now, but we are influxing all kinds of monetary stimulus to all kinds of things throughout this entire world. America has a tendency to think that we are the ultimate protector and the relief fund for everybody in the universe. And you have so many things that are taking place right here under our nose. The underbelly of America: homelessness, joblessness, poor educational system for our youth, mental health issues, a large opioid fentanyl crisis that's killing people, gun violence, gang violence, fatherless homes in the urban market. We have a heavy number of things and issues that are taking place right here in America. And I think as the Israel and Hamas conflict is taking place, the war in Ukraine is something that we should definitely take a look at and pay attention to and even be helpful. But we can't forget our own American citizens. And then don't forget we have this large, huge migrant crisis that is taking place. There will be 1 million people here in no time. We have sanctuary cities in Atlanta, over 30,000 people, migrants that have entered Colorado, Denver, Colorado, Texas, California, and Arizona, Chicago, New York have been decimated with a large influx of illegal migrants, and the government has no idea or no plan for what they're going to do for these people. And then they're displacing them in poor urban markets that are already dilapidated with a ton of problems. So you're putting problems on top of problems. They're not sending them to the suburbs. They're sending them to poor inner city tent cities. You have migrants that are living in police stations, that are living on the street. When New York and Chicago and Denver are going to get very, very cold this winter, we have to be very careful on what is taking place. And where is all the money for job training, for uplifting our inner city urban schools, fighting this opioid crisis? It's amazing how we can find money and print money for things that the government, the federal government, thinks is important, but we don't have any money for the other things that they think are not important, right under our own roof. That is amazing. And I want to tell all the people with the UAW strike, with artificial intelligence, with computer technology and its advancements, when it comes to manufacturing and distribution and retail, there will be very little manpower in the near future. There will be machines doing all the work. A machine cannot go on strike, as I've said in my previous videos. A machine cannot have an HR issue. A machine cannot accuse their supervisor of harassment. So all of this striking in the next 5 to 10 years will be no more. There will be machines doing all of the work. Then you also have a scenario where the dollar won't be worth anything at all. We just print money. Everything is a push of a button. So it makes you wonder, when somebody is worth $100 million or $1 billion, is it true? Is there real value in that $1 billion? Or we're just printing pieces of paper that don't have any meaning? It's not making any sense whatsoever. And so for President Biden to decide to give aid outside of the country, I hope that President Biden doubles or a multiple of 10 for the aid that he needs to provide for the citizens here in America, for the opioid crisis, for mental health issues, for joblessness, for the poor educational system that we have. We need to reduce gun violence. There's too many guns on the street. We're destroying our own country while we're trying to pay attention to everything that's outside of this country. And I think at some point, with the looting and shoplifting and all of the egregious behavior that has taken place right under our nose, we're going to end up having civil unrest. Another civil war. People are poor, they're tired, they're hungry, and now we're influxing 1 million illegal immigrants that have not been vetted. We don't know what they're training. Do they speak English? What kind of skill set do they have? It's going to be a heavy burden on our social services. How are these individuals going to make a living and take care of themselves? We are putting one problem on top of another right in our own country. And while we're trying to make sure that we put out fires across the world, we need to put out the simmering fires, the brewing fires that are taking place right here in America. Chicago has gone from a sanctuary city to a concentration camp, and even the immigrants are upset on how they're being treated. I knew this was going to take place. People of color in this country have had a very, very hard time making it in this country. This has been a very white male patriarchal system, and America has a tendency to forget people of color that live here, and we've been struggling for a long time. So all this money that Biden is printing for everywhere else, print some of that money for the citizens here in America, and let's give jobs, let's give hope, let's help one person at a time. Let's have a humanitarian spirit here in America, a moral and ethical code here, an uplifting of familial and community spirit here. So, please pay attention and stay aware. Thank you for listening to the Trevor Donald Experience on YouTube. Manifest your truth in a positive way. And please check my podcast out, the Trevor Donald Experience, on Buzzsprout, Spotify, Amazon Music. If you like this commentary, please hit the like button and subscribe.